Well, good morning, my friends. This is your friend John Arcovio, and I was just sitting here in my normal place that I do my morning devotions and soaking in prayer time. And just the greatest awareness I had this morning when I woke up was former President Trump waking up this morning with the realization that somebody actually tried to kill him. You know, I've always stood for the fact that the devil fights the most where he fears the most. There's no question in my mind that the enemy does not want this particular candidate to move forward. I know there's tons of people that have all kinds of opinions about Donald Trump. Some people like him, some people don't. One thing I've learned in leadership, I think it was Ronald Reagan that said that if you try to please 100% of the people, you'll please nobody. Kind of paraphrasing. You're always going to have a group of people that don't like you. They don't like your demeanor. They don't like your style. They don't like what you stand for, the opinions of people. And it just really touched my heart to see President Trump's commitment to doing what he was intending to do, especially that iconic picture of him with blood running down his face after being shot through the ear by someone who attempted to take his life, rose his fist up in defiance, was saying, "I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to fight." That's just so commendable. So, I mean, whether you like him, don't like him, think he's fit, not fit, you cannot fault the man's commitment. But a little deeper there, I just really feel strongly that there was a divine intervention in President Trump's life being saved. As many shots as was taken, somebody who was in a stationary prone position with a rifle, as close as this bullet came, I mean, just 1 inch over to the left, and we be mourning an unfortunate death. I do believe that there was divine intervention here. I don't know if it's because God simply loves Donald Trump like he loves every single person on the face of the earth. We'll never comprehend the length, the breadth, the depth of God's love. And, God loves every single person that walks upon this face of the earth. It could be something as simple as that, or it could be a purpose. And that's one thing we've got to step back and recognize by shelving our opinions, shelving our distaste for perhaps someone. We've got to recognize that God has a purpose. You can see throughout the whole scriptures, God used people for his divine purpose that weren't necessarily his golden children. It's very clear that God used Pharaoh to get Israel released from Egypt, and not just released, but released with blessing, where they basically bankrupted Egypt of their gold and silver and things of that nature. God used Nebuchadnezzar to bring forth a dream and a vision that still affects the timeline of us today. And you can just continue going to the scriptures of people that God used that weren't his golden children. And so I just, really wanted to point out that what took place yesterday was divine intervention. For whatever purpose, it is God's hand and will that Donald Trump woke up today and was still living and was still alive. So I was just sitting here praying, as I do every morning, for our nation, praying for that God will intervene and will orchestrate the affairs of men for his purpose to be accomplished. Because ultimately, to me, it's not about opinions. It's not about what race, what political side you're on. My prayer is that we have leaders that have a biblical worldview, leaders that are willing to release us to do our divine assignment, because that's really, guys, what everything boils down to. We're either accomplishing our divine assignment or we're not. We're either doing what God has called us to do or we're not. Everything about my life for the past year has been gathering every ounce of energy, financial means, resources to push myself forward into what I believe and feel is my divine assignment, which in a simple manner is awakening, aligning, and activating people into their destinies. And that is worked out, or that is lived out with the Supernatural School of Ministry that we've established online, with our Spirit-led mentorship program that we do, that we come alongside people mostly by Zoom and by phone. But now that we're in the greater Austin area, and now that God's given us a location in Cedar Park to start worshiping Sundays at 1 p.m. starting August the 4th, now gathering a spiritual family locally here to pour into, to find people that have their destinies. And so it's all about being, if I could use the term driven, I really like being Spirit-led. But there was a time when Jesus was driven into the wilderness, and it was part of the process of his life. But being led by the Spirit into the divine assignment. And I do believe that we have to really recognize what it is that God has called us to do and to move forward in our divine assignment. And I pray that you'll find your sweet spot to step into your fulfillment of what God has called you to do. Because either we're doing it or we're not. That's the bottom line. We can give excuses. We can say, why not? But I believe that, as Jesus said, it is his good pleasure to give us the kingdom. He wants us to step into it. So these are some of my thoughts this morning while I was having prayer, and I'm continuing to pray for our nation, continue praying for God to guide the steps of what takes place. But I'm just so thankful that Donald Trump was spared, and I believe, again, it was divine intervention. And I'm sure in the next days and weeks, all kinds of theories and conspiracies and stories are going to be spun about the events last night. But ultimately, God spared Donald Trump's life because there's an assignment for him of some sort. And I believe that God is empowering him to continue forward in what his particular assignment is. So today I pray that God will empower you and that you will become properly awakened, aligned, and activated into your divine destiny. God bless you this wonderful Sunday. We love you. Have a happy day in Jesus.